There are numerous games developed by those that don't fully grasp how to tackle incredibly popular genres, especially when they're trying to ride the massive success of games like Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, and many other different games. Critter Cove is more than just poor effort. This is one of the few, if not only, games that has perfectly nailed what makes a cozy life sim game like Animal Crossing fantastic by trying to expand upon it, while of course remaining early access with the potential for improvement in the future with open world based building with a lot of support from their community. If you've been seeking a game to satisfy your Animal Crossing craving, this is definitely going to be one of the best options available, so you might want to keep tabs on it closely. Though it currently is only single player, there is hope for future multiplayer updates. As always, we like to talk about any issues, no matter how small, to help the developers and also the gamers who are interested to understand what they may face in the games they play. There are a few quests that either do or do not indicate where you need to travel to obtain certain items that will assist you in completing the tasks that are given to you. Using one of the neighboring islands as an example, I picked up an item while salvaging for material under the water, and I had not been notified that that item was important, as I had with most every other quest item previously. I did spend a significant amount of my time searching for some of these items in their location, but because they were in my storage, I had no idea until it crossed my mind that I probably already picked it up. This can honestly be a huge waste of your time because most map indicators will point you in the direction that you need to go, meaning that you need to check around the area that it's pointing at, rather than directly on the marker itself, while also being directly on the marker, which causes a lot of confusion because the item is either in your storage, in your inventory, on the actual marker itself, or somewhere nearby. I guess you could call this a huge oversight, but if you do manage to find a castaway, there is a chance that another will respawn a few days later with the same personality and requests, just with a different avatar design, which makes it feel like the diversity just isn't here currently when everybody is acting the same way. Finally, with the game being early access, there is a lot of areas across the ocean that are just not accessible, yet the game clearly renders in characters, sea debris, and other elements just so tantalizingly close, which is so disappointing when you can't explore that much currently. What distinguishes Critter Cove from others is that it actually feels well designed even if it is currently lacking. There is still enough gameplay here to pretty much keep anybody who finds Animal Crossing very enjoyable for at least 20 hours. Each and every character exudes a lot of charm. They will approach you when they need something, act out in specific ways, and even offer you gifts and quests to keep you busy, and once you finish those quests, more will appear for you as you grow the relationship. Critter Cove has quite the list of character design when it comes to choosing how you would like to look. Though there is one big issue, and that is you may be unable to design your character with the appropriate color palette, since it will sometimes completely reset if you do try to change the color manually. It might not seem like much of a concern, but if you're somebody trying to make a specific design for quite some time, and then you begin to adjust the colors just for them to ruin the options all at once, you'll have to go back and repeat each and every specific part that you chose to get the colors to reset properly to match them again, which can be very frustrating. Regardless, it is a minor issue that can be easily fixed and doesn't change the fact that you have a lot of options to choose from. The same could be said about each and every other individual that you find shipwrecked across the ocean. This is a very serene and wonderful experience because of the ability to explore this open world, even if it is only a few islands with a few point of interests. There are a lot of features that need to be adjusted to make it not so exhausting so quickly, like having to go back and forth with your boat when you forget an item, or when you're sent out on very repetitive fetch quests instead of giving you a whole list at once. The game does have a day and night cycle, although there isn't currently any seasons or the ability to have a birthday, which hopefully does get added in the future. But even with this day and night cycle, there is absolutely no rush to do anything. You can just take your time, do whatever you want, finish whatever quest that you want to do, and do it at your own pace. It's a very cozy time, especially with a relaxing OST that cycles through each biome that you step through. Your main goal here is to help make the island that you end up on become a tourist destination, and you'll do this by recruiting many of the stranded animals from across the ocean to help liven up the town and work for you while fulfilling each of their requests, getting to know them better, and so on, so they can help you rebuild this once thriving paradise. So you'll be building your very own dream vacation, setting up a place to hang out on the beach, a beautiful garden to attract those that like the scenery, or even a little playground where everybody can come to have some fun. The gameplay shifts from gathering materials and interacting with the residents once you fix the lighthouse. This is when the tourists start to arrive in your town, and they need to be kept happy as they request specific features to be added. Thus, you would then need to complete those requests for the next visit to get paid more money. You're basically trying to bring this whole town to prosperity, and that sums up one of your goals. I love this portion of the gameplay the most because you would have characters tracking you down all around town to greet you in person, asking you for help, leading you to places, and feeling genuinely alive. There's definitely no shortage of things to do, and while it does feel like an overly consistent fetch quest, it's the kind that actually feels somewhat fulfilling. I did play Critter Cove for about 10 hours before I started to think that it was getting a little bit too tedious. Mainly because you don't make a lot of money to unlock a lot of these expensive features needed for the upgrades, and if you do want to make a lot of money, it requires a lot of grinding for materials. This is what's going to eat into a lot of your time, while also being restricted from accessing the rest of the early access world and just having trouble finding some of the quest items to progress through the rest of the currently accessible portions of the game. Despite it all, I remain positive that within a year or two, Critter Cove will be the closest thing to Animal Crossing you will ever be able to find unless they fail to deliver upon all of the community requested features and polish.